All right, sweet. Flatline MMA podcast episode number 71. We're back, baby. A week off from fights, week off from UFC. I know Bellator had some big fights on Friday night. Patricio Pitbull getting it done. And still, per usual, moving on to the final round of the Bellator Grand Prix, going for that $1 million, taking on AJ McKee. That's going to be a fucking great fight. I cannot wait for that one. Pitbull really proving that, like, he's definitely one of the top, lightweights in the world. So, if he wins this money, and, I know he's been talking a lot of shit. If Mike Chandler beats Oliveira for the belt, everyone just has to get over the fact that Bellator has the best lightweight on the planet, which, hey, he's got a good point there. But so UFC off last week. Want to do a quick preview of this weekend's main event. Originally scheduled, Marvin Vettori was supposed to take on Darren Till. Unfortunately, Darren Till had to pull out, I believe it was last week, due to some sort of, I believe it was a rib injury. Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Yeah, some sort of injury.
Yeah, so super unfortunate because I was stoked about that fight. But little do we know, the man, the myth, the legend, Kevin Holland, who a lot of people weren't happy with just a few weeks ago, stepping up to fight an absolute monster in Marvin Vettori, sliding right into, back-to-back main events for him. And this fight's interesting, man. This is, you got Kevin Holland coming off of, a performance that I don't think a lot of people are happy seeing. He was, doing a lot of talking during the fight rather than just fighting. Derek Brunson controlled him really that whole fight. And he's going up against the guy in Marvin Vettori, who is known for just imposing his will on his opponents. And Vittori's pretty well-rounded everywhere. I wouldn't say that he finishes a lot of his opponents, but, Vettori is just a physical specimen. He took down Stylebender a lot in their initial fight. I know he lost that via split decision, but a lot closer than people thought. And he's on a 4-fight win streak, right? He just took out Jack Hermanson, Carl Robertson before that, Andrew Sanchez, Cesar Ferreira. Marvin Vettori is legit, man. And he's just this house of a fucking human being. And this fight with Till was, I think, going to set up a potential number one contender fight next in line for the belt. So, he's pissed. He's taking on a guy in Holland who had all the steam in the world coming into, 2021, won 5 fights back in 2020. Again, we just talked about it, just lost to Derek Brunson in a pretty one-sided decision there. So you got Kevin Holland coming out to prove people wrong as well. So I'm curious, what's your breakdown of this fight? I know I'm just excited that, we have this main event in place, and I'm excited to see these two guys fight, but I'm curious to hear your outcome and what do you think about the matchup here?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty interesting one. We got Vettori coming off a pretty big win off of Hermanson. That was a really good victory for him. And you got, I just lost his name.
Oh, Holland, Kevin Holland?
Yeah, freaking Holland, Jesus. Yeah, Holland coming off a loss, his first loss, in a long time. He had a 5 or 6 fight win streak before that. So, but yeah, Vittori's not afraid to strike with anybody. And we saw that kind of with the Izzy fight. He did, implement the takedowns and stuff. So I think his strategy going into it will probably be to make it a striking battle with Holland, but he's always going to have those takedowns to fall back on. And with it being a 5-round fight, I think that also weighs in his favor. So I'm going to go with Vettori on this one. But, Kevin, he's got the kicks. He's got really quick hands. He's got a lot of power, even though, physically, like, he doesn't look like a strong guy. He's got a lot of power in his hands, a lot of knockout power. So he definitely has a chance there. But I think Vettori, with his size, with the takedowns, his durability, and with it being a 5-round fight, I think all those kind of weigh in his favor in this one.
Yeah, I think this one is going to be a fun one. I don't think Vittori's going to dominate this fight in any way. I think Kevin Holland has something to prove here, right? His last fight wasn't what he was accustomed to, right? So I'm expecting the best Kevin Holland, to be completely honest. I'm expecting him to come out. I'm expecting to use his striking. He's going to be very crafty. And then, obviously avoid the takedown at all costs. But I think it's going to be a great fight. Like, I think it's going to be a potential war. Both guys have a lot to prove. Vettori believes that he can be the champ. And I think a lot of people think that that's true as well. Right. And Kevin Holland's a guy that, like, he had the most hype coming into 2021 of any fighter on the roster. Right. He was a couple fights away from potentially, having a title shot. Now look at him. He's in kind of the driver's seat right now, about to take on, Vittori's number 6 in the world. Kevin Holland's number 10. He upsets Vettori here. That is just a massive jump from, him versus Brunson, right? Like, that's just crazy to think about. So I am fully expecting the best Kevin Holland. I'm expecting the best Marvin Vettori, and big win for either of these guys. And I know Vettori is obviously taking more of the risk here by taking this fight, so kudos to him. But I do believe that he does have a lot to gain from this. I think Darren Till is the one missing out on this. Obviously, there's opportunity here. And I think if Vettori wins, this sets him up for a potential, kind of sitting back and waiting. I know Whitaker's taking on Gastelum next weekend, so we'll let that one play out. But Vettori will be sitting in a good spot if he wins. And then freaking Kevin Holland is going to be sitting in the top 5 if he wins on Monday morning. So I'm excited to see what happens here. The middleweight division is getting interesting. A lot of good matchups here. I think it was a little boring at times, right? But now with, like, Izzy coming back down, knowing that he's going to defend his belt some more, there's just going to be challenges after challenges after challenges coming at him and coming to regain that belt. So I'm fired up. This fight on Saturday night, I'm glad they were able to keep this main event intact with Till dropping out of here. So should be a good one. Tune into that. UFC Vegas 23, ESPN Plus. Go watch that shit.